Blazer. I fucked with this truck years ago quite a bit. It's been sitting for a long fucking time. Looking pretty rough these days. But we had a nice warm day today. Decided to evaluate this ride. Might stick one of these engines I got sitting in here on the stand in here just to make it move under its own power. When I first built this fucking thing, this is a four-wheel drive two-door Blazer. It's a 95 model. When I first built it, I was building an all-wheel drive, kind of like my own version of a Typhoon. You know, it had the Cyclones and the Typhoons, all-wheel drive, bad motherfuckers. And that was the original intent, was to build me a Typhoon type little Blazer, you know. But I ended up breaking the front diff, so I peeled all that shit out of there, took the axles out, just used the hubs on the end of the axles. Took all the transfer case, everything related to the four-wheel drive shit is now deleted. So it's two-wheel drive now, but it's got the torsion bar suspension these things have. Most of your regular S10 V8 conversion shit won't fit this thing because it is, or was, four-wheel drive. So it had like one pair of fucking headers made for a V8 four-wheel drive S10 conversion. So choices were limited. When I first built it, I went through a couple of 4L60s. I got sick of fucking with them things. Not to mention the terrible fucking gear spread they have. The deep first gear, shift a second, lose 4,000 RPM, you know, ain't worth a fuck. So I can't stand 4L60 transmissions, 700Rs or 4L60Es, whatever variation you might have, they all suck. You spend $5 on one and it still sucks. So what we have here is your good old 400 turbo, come out behind a big block. This one is pretty fucking built. It's a full manual. Got a 4500 stall in it. Got a big fucking B&M deep pan on it and shit. You can't see it from up here. And this fucking thing's got a couple of flat tires, so it's laying on the ground. I converted it to manual brakes, did away with all that ABS bullshit. That's a master cylinder off a late 70s Dodge truck, D100 slant 6, manual brake, manual steering, pickup truck. That's what you tell them you got. I bought that new at fucking Advance or O'Reilly's or somewhere. Got a Hurst line lock on it. Roll control, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's got some one-chamber flow masters on it. Peeled all the heater and air conditioner and all the unnecessary shit that I don't feel like I need. It's just excess weight. So I've got this little bastard skinnied up pretty good. It's a hell of a lot lighter than it came. They got these, I think they were trans DAP engine swap mounts. So I don't really particularly care for them, but you know, the small block Chevy will fall right in this motherfucker. Got plenty of pan clearance for about any kind of oil pan you can imagine. You put a big ass bolt pan in this motherfucker. And you can pull the pan off with it in the vehicle pretty effortlessly. So that's one good thing about the four-wheel drive chassis. Cross members up here. So the engine sits like an inch and a half to the passenger side. That offset will fuck you on headers, because your two-wheel drive S10 headers are not made for that much offset to the left there, so it's gonna get in your fucking steering shaft. So if you try to run other regular two-wheel drive S10 headers, you probably have to cut and modify that number 7 tube back there to make it fit. But I just fucking, I'm having Patriot headers I bought for it. They're like 1.5" primary, and hell, I think them little fuckers are 2.5" collectors. I run a 2.5" pipe back to them 1 chambers, and hell, this was a daily driver for fucking years. Manual steering, manual brakes. I had a couple of rowdy ass engines in here too. A 95 Blazer. These wheels and tires are just holding off the ground. I had weld wheels on it, and then some aluminum slots switch back and forth. But I didn't want to let them sit out here and fucking dry rot away. There's the, put a Moroso switch panel in it to control everything, because I completely gutted this fucking truck and just put back what it needed to run. Get your old school Stewart Warner gauges mounted in the dash. Gotta turn the key on and fire motherfucker up. Got a steering wheel out of a, I think it was a 92 Cavalier RS. It's smaller than the original steering wheel, and it don't have the fucking airbag in it, so I bolted right on. So fuck it, it was free. Got the fuel level gauge there. Of course, none of this shit works. But I can tell how fast I'm going by what gear and how many RPMs I'm turning. Tell me how fast I'm going, so I don't need a fucking speedometer. It's got all the carpet and shit peeled out of it. Got your B&M Pro Stick. Best shifter ever made, in my opinion. I love these fucking things. Got your monster tack with the shift light. The bash the shit out of the floor pan to make clearance to bolt up the headers and make shit fit. Took a little bashing over here, but not as much. It's fucking, I got it full of bullshit now, but it's gutted. I had power windows in it. I still got the fucking power window motors, but I went and found me some hand cranks and shit at the boneyard and powered it all that. And one of these days I'm gonna get around to it and get these fucking power window motors out of here and put that hand crank shit in here so I can roll the fucking windows down. This fucking thing runs low sevens with a 350 NA. It's got a 14 gear. It's got an 8.5. Got a solid spacer instead of a crush sleeve in it and shit. And ARP studs and spool, Mosier axles. It's got some pretty good shit in it. 410 gear, it ain't worth the fuck for highway use. 4500 stall. But the next big plan, which I'll probably stick another small block in here just to get this fucking thing back functional and cleaned up. Keep it from completely rotting away on me. But the ultimate plan is drop one of these big blocks I have in here and possibly turbocharge big block. I want to chop the frame off at the firewall and build a new square tube chassis from the firewall forward and put a fucking dropped straight axle in it or something. Maybe Pinto front suspension or some shit. I ain't completely made up my mind yet. And I would like to tub it out and put a big 9 under the ass. Some 1432s under it or something. But this is the old 95 Blazer. It used to be known, had a reputation for being a bad motherfucker. So I just got them on there holding it off the ground. I don't want to ruin my fucking slicks. Sitting out here in the fucking dirt. Hate to see this thing like this. It's looking like shit. But back in the day, this was a bad little motherfucker. And it will be again. I'm planning on getting it running this summer. I'm tired of it sitting. It's been sitting for a long fucking time. I've had a shitload of fun on this fucking thing. I think it weighs in under 3,000 pounds, about 2,900. So it ain't too fat. It's the 2-door. See a lot less of them than you do the 4-doors. Got a big wild pussycat here trying to adopt itself. What's going on? Yeah, there's the Blazer. Got a lot of fucking work to do.